All right, Shabbat Shalom, and good morning, Elder Boys here. While out enjoying my Sabbath on the land, it's beautifully hot out here, and that's why I like a certain section of the land and certain time is in shade. But I'm busy, extremely busy throughout the weekend, so I look forward to resting on the Sabbath. But I also look forward to reaching out and speaking to people that want information and guidance on anything that they see me doing, that I'm bearing fruit in, whether it's owning land or building a business or raising animals or growing food. Pretty much what our ancient Hebrew people did, because we were people that worked with the labor of our hands, and we were builders. We were agricultural people. We kept flock. We raised our own food. We hunted. We built. And so that's why this is what I do for a living, as opposed to sitting at a computer, which I used to do. But it's interesting to speak to people and to hear from people who are listening to other people, and the people that they're listening to have no verifiable fruit in their lives. They don't live the gospel. The scripture says those who preach the gospel must live it. And it's sad to see that there's so many false deceivers and false preachers and teachers out here today that are teaching you the word, but they got a 30-year mortgage. They're renting right in smack dab in the middle of the city. They're dependent on the jobs of the heathen and the pagan. They're dependent on the food of the heathen and the pagan. They don't grow their own food. They don't hunt their own food. They don't raise their own animals. They don't own land. They work for the pagan and the heathen. But they're going to tell you, when they're going to preach to you the word. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? But, it's sad to see so many people that are under this deception. See, I don't get up and I'm not going to, let's take marriage for an example. See, just because I'm married, that does not mean that I am qualified to get up in front of a set of people and preach to you about marriage, because I've been married just for 5 years now. I mean, just because I practice polygyny or do polygyny, that doesn't mean that I'm qualified to teach on polygyny. You got all these people getting out here and they're preaching and they're teaching on polygyny. They're preaching and they're teaching on all of these things. And you see their houses are a revolving door of women. See, that's not what polygyny is. That's not what it's about. So, you got people talking about getting free, but they're in debt and they working for the system and they're dependent on the system, and they have no plan for getting free and independent from the system. You see, you see the flock. See, I can talk about these things because I live it. You see that business right there? See, you see, I can talk about these things because I live and I do it. You see? And there's certain things I'm not qualified to talk about. Just because I've done them, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm qualified to talk about it. See, you got to discern what somebody's qualified to talk about. See, I can talk about growing food because I do it, and I've done it for several years. I can talk about raising animals. I can talk about building. I can talk about bathroom and kitchen remodel. I can talk about these things. I can talk about being debt free because I've done it before. Have I done it for 10, 15, 20 years? No. But I'm at the point in time where now I'm free from the system. I'm self-sufficient from the system, and I can do it consistently, time and time and time again. So therefore I can teach others, and I can show others how to do it because I have verifiable fruit in those areas. However, just because I've been married for 5 years, that doesn't mean that I'm qualified to talk about marriage and teach and counsel somebody in marriage. Hopefully you people can understand the difference of what I'm talking about, and the importance of making sure that, there's certain things. If I tell you to buy a Milwaukee tool, but you buy a DeWalt, that ain't going to destroy your business. But if you turn around and take my advice on marriage, and I haven't experienced all of the ins and outs, that can hurt you. So be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you put your ear to, because just because somebody's getting up on social media platforms, that doesn't mean that they're qualified to talk about what they're talking about, because they don't have the experience, the extensive experience necessary to talk about those things. Be very careful. He said in the last days that many false witnesses and many false teachers and preachers and prophets will come. And this is exactly what we're seeing today. Be careful. Verify and check fruit, or else don't lend your ear to them. Have a blessed day. Shabbat shalom.